Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little lovelies out there. And how I love you all so. I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delish. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So, what's the time, Mr. Wolsey? It's 10 to 12 in the morning in our old England, my delicious babies. Some need to keep a handle on it. And well, it's very dry today. It's slightly windy. It's all right, my left eye keeps jumping. And that doesn't mean no. And yeah, so it's not, I wouldn't say super duper cold, but you know what I mean, it's not warm either. So today, once again, is not t-shirt weather. Okay, my delicious babies now then. I wasn't going to do a video today, okay? But for myself, I come across these videos. That doesn't mean no, just got an itch. I came across these videos, my delicious babies, and I really feel the need to tell you about these videos, my delicious babies. Now, I hope that wherever you are, that the weather is better in your neck of the woods than it is in ours in old Brummyland in old England. Now then, but anyway, not complaining because we do not have any rain, so that makes a refreshing change, doesn't it, my delicious babies? Now then, so right, okay, this is what I have came across. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, once again, these are not videos that just automatically come up on my feed. These happen to be videos that you have to fish for. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, so let's go on to the first one, shall we? So this video here, my delicious babies, this one here happens to have, these are large ones, these are 22.5 million. Now, before I say anything else, I am going to say this, okay? Now, I do say this because for some of our delicious little babies out there, you would have seen these videos, but for others of our delicious little babies out there, you may not have done. Okay, my delicious little babies, and for myself, I too have not seen these particular videos before. Relax. There we are, my delicious babies, my beautiful, shiny little lights. Okay, my delicious babies, now then. Oh, sorry. You can still see the sign, even though the light's not on. And I hope that you're feeling the love. You continue to feel the love. Okay, my delicious babies. So, yeah, because I've yet still to get some more batteries. Okay. Now then, the first one, 22.5 million. And this uploader is called Mr. capital M, but the rest is in little writing. So it's all together. There's no spaces. Mr. Who's the Boss. Okay, my delicious babies. So that's the uploader. And with anybody not in that way, not in that way, I'll repeat again. Mr. Who's the Boss, all together, but there's only one capital M. The video should read, I investigated Ikea's suspiciously cheap tech. Okay, my delicious babies, this video is over 17 minutes long, my delicious babies, okay. I'll just repeat this again for you, shall I investigated Ikea's suspiciously cheap tech. Now then, my delicious babies, why am I mentioning this? Because Ikea, that doesn't mean no. Ikea, my delicious babies, are selling lots of different items at a super duper cheap price. Must remember two ways. Okay, my delicious babies. And what your man here is saying is on the video, the uploader, is that he cannot. Well, at first, he was trying to words to effect to father out, unless he was just being pure sarcastic, my delicious babies. that he was trying to, father out how they could even make a profit. Now, what is this about, Martin babies? This is about smart items. Okay. Now, as we very well know, Martin babies, there is nothing smart about these items, just like watches and all these other things now. Smart meters, which they're quite happy to put in one's homes in the world, which of course are about as much use as a chocolate teapot or an ashtray on a motorbike. Okay, Martin babies, which is absolutely no help at all. Okay. It is, on the contrary, quite the opposite. Now then, there was even one lad, a little one, okay? Is that the one that flew out of his hand and went under the bed, okay? Anyway, he managed to get it back. I think it was that one where the light lasts 35 hours. Okay, my delicious babies. Well, the thing is, uh, for myself personally, okay, I have an issue because there are some shops that still sell what I would call normal light bulbs. Okay, my delicious babies, just normal light bulbs. All right, I look like Stickers Dump this morning, take no notice. Okay, my delicious babies, but what they continuously do in a lot of other shops, my delicious babies, is they want to push onto all of us in the world these what are they, LEDs, and all different types of lights, my delicious babies. Okay. Now he also talks about sensors. Okay, my delicious babies, just lots of different things. I actually found this particular video interesting, my delicious babies, for just over 17 minutes. Okay, so for those of you who happen to go out to Ikea, well, I mean, they still, from what he said, sell a lot of furniture. I do feel I've only ever been to Ikea in the whole of my lifetime twice. It's just not a shop that I've ever really looked at, Mads Lishlik babies, and thought to myself, I really want to buy something from there. I've only ever bought, what was it, just, was it some little plastic knives and forks, for the little bairns when they're little and everything, so that they're, that they will not come to harm or anything, and plastic spoons, you know what I mean? Or like if you have little parties, birthday parties or something. And I bought, what was it at the time? But it was very different then. I mean, I'm going back, 20, 24, well, I suppose 23 and a half year ago, or 23 year ago now. I bought a couple of, for my eldest daughter's bedroom, and I bought her a couple of little, little lights that you put on the wall mads, Lishtuk babies. But I'm going back all those years ago, well over a couple of decades. So, but it's changed. There we are, a lot since then. Okay, mads, Lishtuk babies. Now, I know others over the decades, they've absolutely adored that shop. And for many of them, when they've gone to the cafe, because they have a cafe in there, they all seem to go for the meatballs. Martelishtuk babies, they seem to like the meatballs. Okay, Martelishtuk babies anyway, but this video is very interesting for anybody who happens to go to Ikea, who is interested in these little items. Okay, my delicious babies, you would be rather, there we are, fascinated by this, okay? But for myself, I wanted to get the video out because, like I just said, I repeat again, there is nothing smart about it. They're shoving things into stores, and I am not particularly seeing this as a very good thing. Okay, my delicious babies, not at all, not at all. Okay, so That's number one. Okay, Martin babies, but you will have them. Sorry, just before I come off that particular video, you will have many thousands upon thousands, Martin babies, who will go and buy these. There we are. Gone all cold across my shoulders when I just said that. They will go and buy these because they're not, let's just say, they're not looking into other things. Plus the fact that, you know, ones want the latest gadgets and so forth. You know what I mean, Martin babies? It's like um, others, you know, when a brand new dog and bone phone comes out, Martin babies, well, you know, even if it means that, you know, they've got to work for those who do so, okay, even if they have to, you know, work 2 months, you know, just to get the latest dog and bone, you know, which is over £1,000. Yeah, to myself, I would never in a million years pay over £1,000 for a dog and burn. You'd be lucky that I've flipping hit a ton, which is 100. Ka-ching, ching, 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 ching. You'd be lucky for that. You know what I mean? And the other dog and bone that I'm going to get is going to be even cheaper. Martin babies may be able to put a stop to who's doing whatever they are to this dog and burn Martin babies, but I've got absolutely no privacy whatsoever. So yes, Martin babies well worth a watch of that video. Okay, these will be one-offs that I'm advertising Martin babies today. Okay, and they do have a lot of subscribers. That doesn't mean no. The next one, Martin babies. This happens to have 4.93. So I'm saving the last one till last Martin babies. 4.93 million. So like I said, these are large uploaders. Okay, Martin babies. And this uploader is called Fern. So it's capital F and then little writing ERN. Fern. That's the uploader, Martin babies. And this video here is it that one? Is it that one that's 29? Or is it the other one? I think this one could be about 30 minutes, Martin babies, but the last one I think is about 29 minutes long. I know it's so one way or the other. And this video should read, the strangest drug ever studied. Okay, Martin babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you. The strangest drug ever studied. Now, this drug, I haven't wrote down, I should have wrote down the actual word of this particular drug, but this is called D for Delta, M for Mother, T for Tango, DMT. Okay, Martin babies now then. So, what is this about? So, during this video, they talk about, which I've watched videos on this years ago. Oh gosh, what's it called? Amanushka. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, Martin babies. Anyway, I've watched videos on this. Now, I watched one particular video many years ago where they were showing, this was in Peru. Actually, the shaman passed away, going back years ago now. And he passed away, Martin babies, I think not long after one particular video, but where, you know, you go for, you know, it's like a retreat. Okay, Martin babies, it is like a retreat. And you sort of take this, I can never get it, Ananushka or Amanushka, it's one of those. Anyway, I could be here all day saying that, Martin babies. I just need to get to the point here, okay? And for some, they're all right on it. And they say that they've had an all right experience. For some, it's changed their lives. Like I said, I watched this, there we are, many years ago, okay? Many years ago, okay? So this, hearing this is nothing new to myself, okay? As for some of yourselves, you too will agree with myself if you've watched any videos to do with this particular drug, which of course, it's like many drugs, isn't it? It's a plant, isn't it? Okay. But for others, they've had a very awful experience. There was one where, and I remember that all those years back, where somebody, because occasionally, apparently, this does happen, and they had a very, very, let's just say, nasty. Well, it's worse than side effect, isn't it? There's nothing worse than passing, is there? Bless their dear little souls, not in that way, not in that way. And they just got put by the road. Okay, there was one family who was taking the matter, there we are, far further. Do you know what I mean? Babies, okay? So it does also, I suppose, come with a label, shall we say. It can make some very nauseous, where they cannot help it, they project. Okay, babies, so we know all about that. Anyway, then, well, I do, and for others who know about this particular, they will know that too. Bless them, not in that way, not in that way. Anyway, but the point is, I think there's a bit of to do with LSD in here. Anyway, my delicious babies, this DMT, it's a very long word. I should have wrote it down, my delicious babies, because these tablets and everything, they do seem to have extremely long words. So whoever happens to make these words up are I suppose we have to give them a blue Peter badge for making it as difficult as possible for the rest of us to understand it, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Yes. Anyway, I always feel it's better, when you look at a really long word, to break it down into little words that, let's just say, one can digest. You know what I mean? That's the best way, there we are, to say that. Okay, my delicious babies, and then you will come up with maybe other little words. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes, okay. It's all meant to confuse you, isn't it? Because for most, they just want to get medication or whatever, and they just want to trap, don't they? Just want to go. You know what I mean? We know the drill. Now then, my delicious babies, so that's that. But once again, another fascinating video to take a listen to. Now, finally, why have I left this till last, my delicious babies? Now, this, because with any videos, like I say, that I advertise, I never ever advertise anything to upset, to offend, to hurt somebody's feelings. I'm just not that type of woman. I speak my noddle. There we are. Yes, I do. Okay, so if there's something that I do not like, everybody can be rest assured, put it this way, my delicious babies, that you can tell it just by looking at me birthdays, that I'm just totally not happy about something, you know what I mean? It's like written all over my birthdays. I've had many say to me over the decades, they said, Carla, they said, if you do not like something, they said, it's, your face tells it all. Do you know what I mean? You don't even have to say nothing. You know what I mean? That is how I feel about this video, my delicious babies. You know what I mean? So this upload happens to have 4.87 million. Okay, my delicious babies, and I forgot to look actually when they all started their YouTube channel. Okay, because to be fair, there may have quite possibly been a jump, around 6 years ago. Okay, my delicious babies, because that's when a lot of videos did jump, like uploaders, especially the ones who were, well, let's just say, going along with something. Okay, my delicious little babies, because I did notice this, there we are, myself. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so, getting back to this video, so this uploader, and this is the final video for today, is called capital W, Will, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, my little babies, as we very well know in the world. You know what I mean? Space, and that's not meant to hurt, offend, or upset anybody. Capital T, Tennyson. So I'm just going to spell this for you. Tennysson. So the uploader is called Will Space Tennyson. Okay, my little babies, and this video is it that one. Anyway, either way round, what I said earlier. One's 29 minutes something long, and the other one's about 30 minutes long. Okay. Now this video should read: I investigated the country where it's illegal to be fat. Okay, my little baby, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you. This is exactly what it says, my little baby. So I'm not here to hurt, offend, or upset anybody. I'd never do that. I'm just reading out what the video says, the title of it. I repeat again, I investigated the country where it's illegal to be fat. Now we're going to close our book. Now then, my little baby. So, what is this all about? Need to go backwards. So, this, my little babies, is to do with South Korea. So we're over to South Korea, my little babies, okay? Now, put it this way. I feel that that country, and this video is not a very old video, okay? I do not feel it's in a very good way myself, my little babies, okay? Mind you, I mean, we could say that about any of our countries, clearly. You know, it is not ourselves personally who are causing issues and problems, my little babies. We seem to know who, there we are, is causing the issues and problems, my little babies. But this is rather disturbing to watch this video, and I'm going to begin by saying, while it's on my noddle, in a play area, in a playground where little Bens go and play, you know, where it would have a swing and a slide and all these kind of things now. There's these wooden, no joke, my little baby, swear down, this is the truth. These wooden, like poles, okay, and above it, it lets you know how thin you are or how overweight you are. It's very true, this is my little babies, okay? Me personally, I happen to find this, there we are, most disturbing. Okay, my little babies, now probably some would probably laugh at it and just, you know, laugh it off or whatever, you know, in the world watching that video, but not for myself, no. There's nothing funny about that at all. Okay? And why do I say this, my little babies? I'll tell you the reason why I say it, because, you see, you imagine a little bairn where all they want to do is go into a park, there we are, and play. Little bairns are not really, to be fair, going to be that concerned about the weight. For the average little bairn, they're not going to be that concerned. Because they just want to play with their friends, their little friends. You know what I mean? That's all they want to do. They don't want to have to feel that they're going to be stuck in between a pole to see how thin they are or how overweight they are, my little babies. So that in itself is most disturbing. Now, in South Korea, it appears, my little babies, they also seem to have a, what do they call it, a size F. A size F for Freddie, which is a real tiny size item of clothing. Okay, this is for the women, my little babies. Okay, now for the men, this is a different thing because their clothes should be loose on them. Okay, so your man there, the uploader, he tried on one of these tops, you know, like a shirt jumper top, you know, and well, he would be classed as one sec, please, Martin. Sorry about this. I'm sorry about that, Martin. Baby Sky. Sorry, somebody's just waving to me. Anyway, not in that way, not in that way. Anyway, Martin baby. So it also seems that in South Korea, getting back to this matter in hand, that well, that your man there tried on that top, so that's classed as, which it should be, classed as loosely fitting. But of course, this man is not from South Korea. Okay, Martin baby's the uploader. Okay, so it is classed as being very tight on him. So in South Korea, what they do. So everyone's waving to me. I'm sorry, Martin. This is what I love about being back in my room, Martin. You can see the world go by, you know what I mean? Anyway, bless them. Not in that way, not in that way. Anyway, so in South Korea, so if you are overweight, that they class as overweight, Martin, babies, well, you can get shamed. Okay. So, I personally do not feel that this is a good thing. Now, for the women, for some of them, they are very self-conscious about their breasts. Okay, Martin babies. Well, of course, however you're made, is. So I'm sorry, Martin babies. We'll just keep waving to me, Martin. They keep waving. I'm so sorry, Martin. I really do get distracted. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the point is, Martin baby. Sorry, I'm going to get back to being serious now. The point is that some of the women are self-conscious about their breasts. Okay, so they tend to go and have implants for some of them. Okay, and as it was pointed out on the video by is he South Korean who lives there, that, well, you can certainly notice that these are implants. Okay, Martin babies. So, what is it that I really want to say there, Martin babies? Well, I mean, the point is, why go and have them done in the first place? I mean, I know that we are all different shapes and sizes, Martin babies, okay? So I'm not here to embarrass any men. Anyway, for the majority of men, it's gone on for decades, hasn't it, Martin babies? They're either a booby man or a bum man, aren't they, Martin babies? You know what I mean? I suppose legs and that come in third or whatever. Anyway, Martin babies, but let's be serious now, get back to the matter in hand. So, along with that, some women as well, they have an issue with their nose. So they want a nose that turns up more, okay, not a nose that is down. I mean, I was listening to this short video. Sorry, Martin, babe's got something in me on. Sorry about that. I was listening to this video and I thought, my word. Now, also, Martin, babies, okay? Everything they sell, I mean, this is just putrid, in my view. Okay? Everything that they sell is like, is it about 200 calories? I mean, come on. In reality, who can live off 200 calories? Okay? So, and it's meant to sort of fill you, or do you understand what I mean? Now, along with this, you've got low calorie drinks. Well, of course, we've got it all over the world, haven't we? Well, you've got low fat stuff all over the world, as far as I'm concerned, never mind the low fat, because it's a load of crap. Okay, you should go for full fat all the time. I mean, I'm not telling ones what to do, sorry, but I'm just saying, but I'm not sorry for what I'm saying, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Mad delicious babies, but, it's like you should have full fat milk. If you can have yogurt, full fat, creamy yogurt, butter, cheese. Yeah, do you understand what I mean? I mean, for ones who eat meat, they used to say decades ago. I mean, it still stands, to this day, really, not as much, but decades ago, the fatty part of the meat, let's call it animals, whether it is, beef or lamb or pork, that decades ago, that was an important part of somebody's, there we are, of somebody's diet. Okay, but it appears over in South Korea, this does not happen, Maatlich babies, from what I can see. I mean, all I could see was junk and crap. Fizzy pop, which your man there was quite happy to say it's like a tall, I don't know, drink or something anyway. That was probably for his video, the whole ka-ching, ching, ching, ching. You've got to advertise a few things, haven't you, Maatlich babies? Yes. But the point is, the way I see it is, Maatlich babies, I do not personally see that as a very good way to live. So, and even your man there, who's uploaded to his, to this channel, he even tried it, going back to that poll, and he said, he would be classed as chubby. I mean, to myself, how can it be illegal to be overweight? For myself, Martin, babies, this is damn rank sickening. There we are. This is damn rank sickening. I mean, they wouldn't like myself, would they, Martin, babies? They're probably not being a bitch. I'm just done saying it the way it is. They probably wouldn't want myself to go over there because they've got a good flipping set of flipping Fretny bits, Martin, babies, and I've got a good flipping firmer backside. You know what I mean, Martin, babies? I mean, what right does, whether it's a government or anything, to turn around and say, this is not good for the country, for the men or the women. It's not good at all. But anyway, there's more. So, on top of this, smart little babies, okay, you've got pharmacy after pharmacy, okay, and you go into these pharmacies. Anyway, the way that they are, this is damn rank disgusting as well, Martin, babies, because you go in, and this is all to do with this weight loss. So everything is concentrated from the food to the junk and the crap that you buy, like pop, arse lollies, which of course, even for those, are supposed to be full fat. If you're going to, unless you're going to have a little juice ice lolly or something. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. But the point is, Martin, babies, everything is concentrated on everybody being super duper skinny and thin. Okay, so let's get back to the matter in hand with these pharmacies. So you go in, and for some, they have a consultation, and is it 150 ching 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 later? And by the way, they do offer, the doctor offers to inject you there and then. Okay, Martin, babies, okay? Yeah. Can you believe it? Well, actually, you can. But the point is, so he brought out the box, the uploader with his channel. But he said that the way that the doctor spoke to him, it wasn't like, anything really to do with health. It was, quite abundantly clear that he was there to push the drug, isn't it? That's what he was there for. There's no sort of, interaction where, or maybe if you have more fruit or vegetables or, or something like this now then, as an example. So the uploader did point out, Martin babies, that he will not be having that drug. Okay, but if you could see how easy it is, mad to little babies, just through a little bit of ka-ching, ching, ching, ching. You know what I mean? To push all these drugs. It's just absolutely disgusting in my view, mad to little babies. Okay, if somebody's a little bit overweight, well, they're a little bit overweight, aren't they? You know, is somebody, everybody's born differently, aren't they, martyrish babies? I mean, if we go back decades ago, admittedly, in our old England, if you look at videos that were decades and decades ago, our population overall was maybe not, maybe quite possibly carrying the weight like it is now. Do you understand what I mean? And that's not just in our country, but that's in a lot of other countries. So, me personally, if somebody's slim, well, they're slim. If they're mediocre, they're mediocre. If they're overweight, they're overweight. What has that got to do? Figure of speech, old-fashioned sayings, mad babies. What's that got to do with the price of fish or the price of corned beef? It's got absolutely jack shart to do with anything, okay? You could have somebody who is as skinny, which I've saw in South Korea, mad delicious babies, just looking at the video, it's just the way that they are, okay? And they could be as skinny as anything. Well, number one certainly does not mean that they're a very nice man or woman, okay? And number two, you know, they're certainly personality-wise is shat. And number two, who's to say that they're even healthy with the crap and the shat that they're putting in their systems? You know, simple things. I'm just asking a question, mad delicious babies, you know what I mean? I mean, as we very well know, you know, there's ones who are very, you get them everywhere in the world, you know, they're very health conscious, you know, they weigh their food, they weigh everything, mad delicious babies. Well, that's up to them, isn't it? That's how they live. But in my experience, mad delicious babies, if I've met somebody who is, you know, carrying a large amount of weight, and I mean a colossal amount of weight, or sometimes not even a colossal amount of weight, they have usually got the most beautiful, there we are, personalities. And they're usually, you know, not in that way, you know, they're usually very attractive, do you know what I mean? But they're attractive looking, but they've also got a beautiful personality, there we are, to go with it. Do you understand what I'm saying, yes? For these, again, they're not wired correctly, martyrdistic babies, in my view. And they even clearly said on the video that, you know, for most tourists, unless you were super duper skinny, like stick thin, like a twig, well, you know, it wouldn't be the best place to go and buy clothing. I mean, how would anybody want to live like that? And then you can just go in and, you know, if you want plastic surgery for something, you know. So when all of these seem to think now then, over in South Korea, that they're all living, well, actually, no. I disagree with that, because they too, it's just in another way, mad delicious babies, that's all this is. It's just in another way, okay? They're just existing, just the same as all other countries. There we are. Okay, so they're not flipping damn superior because what they're stick thin. And then they're told that, you know, it's illegal to be fat, so you've got to watch your calories, you've got to watch this, you've got to watch that. That's not living, mad delicious babies. There we are. That is damn well existing. Do you know what I mean? So, and I would pretty much say that there'd be probably more to this as well, because, they'd probably be looking at, you know, um, for the women, probably looking at other women in other countries, you know. And I'm not being nasty, Martlish babies, okay? I'm just done saying it the way it is, especially when I hear the way that they behave, the way that they talk about it. I just think that's damn rank and disgusting and damn right bloody damn rude, in my view, Martlish babies. I couldn't give a fiddler's F. They know it's wrong to speak or to label somebody else. Yet there we are. They would continue doing that. So I do not see them as a very nice population at all. Martinish babies, you probably got a handful who are half decent, but for the rest of them, no. You know what I mean? Martinish babies, okay? And you could even tell because the uploader was talking to this young woman. He talked to two at a different time, but there was one, and I reckon deep down with that one, I shouldn't say this, man, just anyway, I'm going to say it. By the way that she was looking at him, right? I reckon she would have easily given him one. You know what I mean, Martinish babies? You know what I mean? You have to watch the video, Martinish babies. You can just tell. You can always tell by somebody's bow trace, um, along the lines of what their thoughts are. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, she's probably looking at your man there now. Yes, he's from a different country, the upload, but she's probably looking and thinking, oh, yeah, I wish I had a bloke who had all these muscles and, and things like this now then. Do you know what I mean? You could just read in between the lines. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you just have to see it for what it is, isn't it? But, you shouldn't look at other countries. If somebody's carrying a bit of weight, well, they're carrying a bit of weight. What's that got to do with the price of corned beef? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, even if tourists want to go into their country, they've paid their own bills, they've clothed themselves and they've fed themselves, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, in my view, what right has anybody got, to say anything at the end of the day? They've got absolutely jack shot no right at all, my delicious babies, but no. But I wanted to point this out and get back to what I wanted to say. And I bet you that half those South Korean women, especially the ones who want boobies and all that martish babies, you know what I mean? I bet there's a little bit of there we are, a bit of jealousy. I won't say enviness, because enviness means that, you're not nasty towards somebody. Do you understand what I mean? It's a different word entirely, a kind meaning. But I would say probably more jealous than anything, especially if a woman's got a good pair of freckly bits on her. You know what I mean? Martish babies. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Because they have to have flipping jelly flipping socks shoved up the flipping tops. You know what I mean? Martish babies under their old skin. Yeah, so I will flipping say it back. And anybody else who was to watch that video, well, anyway, ones can make their own thoughts. Care martialistic babies, but I just didn't like the way that the attitude, the damn attitude. Now, what come out the trap, isn't it? I didn't like it one bit. Because they might be as skinny as what? A skinny little bitch there now then. But they've got zero personality, zero look, isn't it? On the boat race. And they've got zero titty. So at the end, and they've got zero backside. So now, I have a very different view on things, Martinish babies, you know what I mean? But don't get talking about, chatting. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, okay? They're the ones, I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, we're all flipping boxed in, in all different countries, Martinish babies, apart from a few countries who know nothing about it. But the point of the matter is, Martinish babies, is at the end of the day, I would say that there we are, in an even worse situation. You know what I mean? Martinish babies. That must be a horrible life to live. But of course, living a horrible life like that, you see the venom come out of their traps, their dirty little filthy traps. And that is not myself being prejudiced or racist, Martinish babies. It's just that all this skinny business, we've seen it decades ago with the, what do they call these models? I want to be a model. That's what they used to say decades ago. I want to be a model. You know what I mean? Mardlish babies kind. You had to be a certain height, you had to be a certain weight. Some of them, they hardly ate a thing. That is not a good way to teach somebody to live. Somebody can still eat healthily and maintain a healthy weight. Okay, but we must remember that as well, the taller that you are, is the better you can carry your weight off. So it's all ding, ding, dong, dong common sense. If you've got somebody who's shorter, it means you're going to see the weight more. But if you're taller, then they can carry it off better. Do you see what I'm saying, Mardelistic babies? Okay? I happen to see things in a different way. Plus the fact, what about over all these decades, anorexia? Anorexia nervosa, Mardelistic babies. This is not a very good picture to paint, is what I'm saying, Mardelistic babies. Okay, so no, I totally disagree. Just to end my video, Mardelistic babies. Okay, I do not take anything back. No, I do not. Would I ever want to go and visit North Korea? No, I wouldn't. It certainly would not be on my list. Not at all. I've never wanted to go to anywhere like that. And others can say whatever. I couldn't give a fig's F. It's just not a place where I would ever want to go. Do you know what I mean? Okay, if you're going to go on a holiday, there we are. Go on a proper damn holiday, you know what I mean? Not go around flipping sightseeing and eating low-calorie flipping ice cream and drinking shit pop and, you know what I mean, and all that all day. And then go and have something to eat, then everything's that flipping low fat that it tastes bland and shit. I don't think so, Mardelistic babies, you know what I mean? And the only way that it would taste half decent is because of other things that they put in it. Let's get it right, let's get it right. So no, that's what I've got to say on that. So that's why I left that video till last, Mardelistic babies. But no, they've got very, very nasty, they might all come across as a very no, they're not. They're very putrid, actually. Okay, so I happen to have a very different view. Okay, Mardelistic babies, and that's that. Now, of course, others will have a different view. Some may even decide that they do not want to watch my channel. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I'm not going to take it back, and I'm not sorry for what I've said. This can cause, there we are, a lot of problems unless somebody, bless their dear little souls, not in that way, not has got half a noddle to see that that is by no means healthy at all. Okay? So they're suffering in another way. But then you see the dirty venom come out the trap, you know what I mean, Mardelistic babies, as if their own shite doesn't stink. Everybody's shite stink in all different countries, in one way or another, you know what I mean? But if they were to come to our country, we wouldn't be shaming them. You know what I mean? Or laughing, I mean, even though I never saw that, but I'm just saying, they're the type, there we are, to do that. Okay, Mardelistic baby, so I do not see myself being prejudiced or racist at all. Not at all. And I personally feel that any woman who's carrying a bit of weight, Mardelistic babies, okay, I see it as a healthy thing. I mean, for decades and decades, you can ask the average man out on the street, on the road, Mardelistic babies, okay, this has gone on for decades now. And the average man, they've all said it. And I've spoken to plenty of, not in that way, I've spoken to plenty of men. And man is man, remember, right? And I have spoken to plenty of men over the decades. And what do they all say? They don't want no skinny skimping now. They say, we want something to hold on to, Carla, you know what I mean? That's when you go to sleep at night, you know what I mean? They don't want somebody skinny. It's only what I would say, a small amount, whether they do this fitness, bodybuilding or whatever else, you know what I mean, or something like that. But there's usually only a small amount who go for a really skinny woman. For the average man, there we are, you go asking if you don't believe me. You go asking. I mean, I personally got nothing against anybody, okay? Neither colour, race, weight, whatever. ones can do it the lark. You know what I mean? I pay my own bills, I clothe myself and I feed myself. So therefore, I just get on with what I'm getting on with. Do you understand what I mean, Martin? Babies, okay? But you go and ask the average, and what they're going to say? You know what I mean? They're going to say they're like a woman. Do you know what I mean? And especially if she's got a good, up the top now then, freckly bits, or she's got a nice bum, or whatever else, or whatever they go for. Everybody's different, aren't they, Martin? Babies, okay? But the point is this, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to go and lie down with a woman now then who look like a man, isn't it? Who's got no breasts, who's got no nothing now. I mean, like I said, nobody can help who they made, how they made, sorry. I didn't need somebody. Nobody can help how they've been made. Of course not. Okay? But you ask the average man. Okay? Then come back to myself. There we are. Okay? And you'll hear a very different, you know what I mean? Or they like a woman who's, got a good proportion, but she's not skinny to the point of, well, there's just nothing. Okay, Martin, she's got to have something, whether it's bum, whether it's, little boobies or whatever. Okay? So I feel that South Korea now, I truly believe, and with all this cosmetic surgery and everything, you can just walk in as well, and 150 ka-ching, ching, 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 ching later, you can come out with this injectable bloody to lose weight and everything. I bet the doctor's not researching to see the ingredients inside of what he's just given to somebody. Do you know what I mean? Sold to somebody, Martin, babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. Anyway, so that's my video, but I'm not taking anything back. And anybody who knows myself, they know that I'm not prejudiced, racist or nothing. But let me tell you, I do not like the damn attitude, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They're a big man, big woman, they're adults, and at the end of the day, they should know when to wind the neck in. There we are, simple things. Okay, Martin, babies, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected, and how I love you so. Thank you so very much for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. Okay, my delicious babies, I was just giving my opinion, okay, on how I viewed the video. There we are. Okay, my delicious babies, others can have a different opinion. But I'm a woman with a view. There we are. I shall have my effing view, and that's my view. Okay, my delicious babies, I never liked it. One bit. I thought it was completely and utterly false. I do not feel that it's for the health of the country. South Korea. I do not feel that it's for their health at all. And I just, myself personally, I just think they look gaunt and disgustingly unreal. Okay, my delicious little babies can. Not to mention then in parts of China with one A, W-O-N-N-Y, capital W, on a YouTube, my delicious babies. I mentioned him a while back, didn't I? They're doing all these things to their birth races and everything, my delicious babies, And then we've gone through the, that's what I forgot to mention, the eye colour. Ones are damaging their eyes because they want different eye colour. Have you ever heard of this madness, man? Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? This is what's happening. So ones are prepared. This is a TikTok thing, by the way, as far as I believe, okay, from what I've seen on videos. And I haven't looked on TikTok. This is listening to one. And there's other videos on this which mention TikTok on YouTube, my delicious babies, okay, where they're quite prepared to have whatever done at whatever o'clock to change their eye colour. And some of them are never going to be able to see properly again. What do we call this, my delicious babies? It's very sad what is going on, my delicious babies, but what do we call that? Why shouldn't ones just be happy with the eye colour, just be happy with what they've got? You know what I mean? Instead of Botox and nip and tuck or whatever you call it here, there and effing everywhere, do you know what I mean? Why do they want to change the eye colour? You know, because surely to goodness they must have had half a noddle, isn't it, to know that something could go wrong, and it very sadly has for many. There we are. Okay, so their eyesight's never going to be the same. Some of them have gone completely blind. Well, does that sound to yourselves, my little babies, that it's a very good idea to try these silly damn things? Because I personally do not feel so. No, I certainly do not. It's called complete silliness, man. That's what that is called. Okay, so until my next video, my little babies, then it's vanity. Sheer and utter vanity. Okay, ones must just be happy with what they got. You know what I mean? Okay, if somebody wants to stay the way they are, let them stay the way they are. If they want to lose a little, let them lose a little. If they want to put a little on, everybody talks about one's putting weight on, but nobody talks about, like, say you got somebody slim, that just came into my noddle, slim, who wants to put on a few pounds. You don't hear so much about that, Martish babies. You see what I mean? You should not be shaming, you know, everybody. I mean, please do not get me wrong, okay? I do feel if somebody is, like, you know, where they cannot even get out of their home in an ambulance, I do see that as a severe overweight problem. Yes, I do. Okay? Because it's for their health more than anything. But what I'm saying is, but generally speaking, you'll always hear about something now, somebody labelling somebody this and somebody that. It just goes on and on. You know what I mean? Martlish babies can. But there are some skinny women over the decades, Martlish babies, there we are, who want to put a little bit of weight on. But you never hear so much about that, do you, Martlish babies? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how this, there we are, rocks and rolls, Martlish babies, can? But generally, you know, even if somebody wants to lose a little bit here or a tiny bit there, well, you know, I just say, let just ones be what they want to be. But I do not like when you've got in different countries where they're shaming, and that is disgusting damn behaviour. And it should not be happening under any circumstance. And on that note, my little babies, okay, thank you so very much once again for any views, for any likes, the occasional comments. How I love you so very much so. Like I said, I wasn't even going to do a video today, but anyway, I've done it. I've said what I've got to say. I'm not taking nothing back, okay? I won't ever be going to South Korea anyway, so it really doesn't bother myself one bit anyway, you know what I mean? Well, to be quite honest with you, even if I was in South Korea and somebody had said something to myself that would have got a damn mouthful back, I wouldn't just stand there and take it. That's taking a complete piss, man, and I wouldn't allow that. Okay? And like I said, 9 times out of 10, you know, what is it? Or I'm being sarcastic, you know, smiling your boat race, wanting to take your place, you know what I mean? Because they're locking, isn't it? They're locking even worse than we are. Okay, my delicious baby. So, how I love you so. Take care. But if you do get a minute, please, if you would like to look at the videos, especially the last one and the first one. All right. Take care. Love ya. Thank you. Goodbye.